Good morning, everybody. We are learning, thank you for coming. We are learning Leilui Nishmas Bas Yafega Bas Yisrael, Levi ben Yosef, and for the refuah of Eliza Chana Bas Naomi, Hila Bat Ilana, and Shoshana Yona Bas Edo. So we have a very sweet, very Mama Rochel type of shir today, where we've been spending a lot of time discussing. Last year we had, here I'm going to give these pages out. Last year we had, from the Torahs of the Bial Rebbe, I'll tell you something amazing. This is all Torahs from the Bial Rebbe, the Mevaser Tov, and about, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, someone called me and said, listen, there's a son of a big tzaddik that he think he's coming, he may be coming to Efrat, and some of the Chaver thought maybe it's shayach, if you feel some kesher, that he should come to the shul and meet with you and your Chaver and give a shir here, but only if there's any shaychus. I said, who is it? He said, well, there was once a big Rebbe, and his name was the Bial Rebbe, the Mevaser Tov, and it's his son. I said, you're not going to believe this, but I can't make this stuff up, but this year we started a new series, a new sefer, from the son of, from the Mevaser Tov, from the Bial Rebbe himself. I think it would be shayach. I think it's a good idea. So it's very special. He's, I don't know if it's, I don't know what the deal is with women. Well, it would be weird if, whatever, I'm not going to say anything.
Is he from Ramat Eshkol?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know.
Is this somebody from Ramat Eshkol?
I know. Well, there are a lot of Bial Rebbes from a different line. This line was from Lugano, right from Switzerland. So that was just very special. A little wink from above. The last thing we learned was a very important nekuda, what we spoke about, chochmas nashim. Is this on? Is it going? Mm-hmm. The last thing we learned about was a very fascinating topic that we spoke about regarding a woman's, the word I think was koach ha'havchana. Do you remember that? Koach ha'havchana. The ability to be, and then we had a hard time.
Yeah, distinguish is one of them.
Discernment, you said, right?
Discern.
The ability to be like analyze, and ifchun, that was the word we were using when doctors use that word all the time, the ifchun, that a woman's ability to know what's important versus what's not important is a tchuna within the bria of the nukva. That's what we were discussing last time. And we gave a lot of examples for the chokhmah of women that they're able to see, because it's coming from the world of bina, which is higher than chokhmah. So in the world of bina, without getting too into it, and in Kabbalah, bina is always em, chokhmah is av, and bina is em, always the mother. The mother's ability, a woman's ability to be able to just look right into something and say, this is what something's about, or this isn't shayach, or all of the above. And therefore we said, okay, and therefore, when we plug that in to the koyach tefillah, it oker harim, it moves mountains, because quite often when we come and we're like, we know in our hearts, okay, I gotta daven, I gotta pour out my heart before Hashem. And then we finally show up and start davening. So in a man's world, it's more klali, it's more just like, okay, davening and this and that. A woman's inyan of taking that koach ha'avchana and putting it into tefillah is what we were saying last week, which is such a beautiful and important thing. And I don't want to, I'm not tooting your horns. It's something that the Ribbon Shalom gave you. You know what I mean? Like I have, with so many of my friends that are like famous artists, and I'm always like, I'm so in love with what Hashem decided to put in you, and I can't believe what you're doing. It's a big Indian, and they're always like chuckle and like, they get the point. And so over here too, this koach ha'avchana, this is something that is given, and this is what we were discussing last time. But now, in Mamar Bet, now we're going much more tachlis into tefillas nashim. And up until now, it was describing a lot of different tchunot, a lot of different characteristic traits in the whole picture. But today, and feeling like learning this the week of Rivka Imeinu's Yortzeit, sitting a few minutes from Rachel, but also sitting a few minutes from Sarah and Rivka and Leah, you know. It's not like they're too far. It's all around here. And we'll see a few different things. Where's Chana buried? Does anyone know?
It's area.
Is it? Is there a kever Chana? Anyone ever been? I guess not so much. Well, yeah, but I don't know. Is she buried there by Shmuel and Avi?
There's no.
Not that I know. Sorry? Regardless of where they were from, I just don't know where. Whatever. Tzarech and anyone that knows, I would love to know about that. Huh? Yes. Ask Yuri. That's true about everything, but also about Kfarim as well. So the example that he's going to start off with will Dafka probably be a surprising one. Because in Parshat Toldot, which is in 2 weeks, which is in a week and a half, is it 2 weeks? No, a week and a half, right? No, 2 weeks, sorry. 2 weeks from this Shabbos. The famous story, beginning of the Parsha, about Yitzchak and Rivka davening to have children, we know that from the pshat of the psukim, it's, you would think, no, what do you mean? Why are you saying that women's davening is higher than men's? Because the pasuk says there that they were both davening. Who did Hashem answer? Yitzchak. So look what he says here. This is really beautiful. Maybe you've heard this in a different variation. This is very beautiful. Tfilas Rivka Imeinu alea shalom. Baruch atah Adonai melech she'akol nidbarim. Really beautiful. Nizbar ki tfilas נשים קרובה לזכה לפני Hashem יזברך. We've discussed already that the davening of women is closer to be miskabel, to be received before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. ועתה נבוא לבאר בעזרת השם סוד מעלת תפילתן. What's the secret of the high level of women's davening? שהיא נחשבת ורצויה לפני השם יזברך יוסר מתפילת הנשים. That seems to be more accepted and wanted more than men's davening. ויסוד זה מצינו כבר בתפילתו של רבקה אימנו עליה השלום. שנאמר ויתר יצחק להשם לנוכח אשתו כי יקר היא ויעתר לו השם. That Yitzchak and Rivka were davening like lenochach ishto, right? They were both davening. Remember, there's famous Rashis there and Midrashim. They were both in the same room. One was in one corner, one was in the other corner, and they're both davening. But the pasuk says, "Vayater lo Hashem," that the answer was given to in the schus of Yitzchak. That's what the pshat seems. Umedayik Rashi sham lo velo la. Davka, it was answered to Yitzchak, but not to her. Why? She'ein domet tfilas tzadik ben tzadik letfilas tzadik ben rasha. That he's saying they're both tzaddikim, but one of them is a tzadik ben tzadik, Yitzchak Avinu ben Avram, and Rivka's Abba wasn't exactly a tzadik, to say the least, and Rivka falls into the category of tzadik ben rasha. Tzadik is bas rasha. Umashma, so the Biala Rebbe says, so what does this mean? Ki ilu hayashavim b'mayla, if they were both tzaddikim b'nei tzaddikim, Hashem Yisbarach netar l'tfilasa shel Rivka tchila. Then Hashem would have answered Rivka's davening first. Rak shekan netar l'tfilas Yitzchak Avinu v'lo la kevan she'at tzadik ben tzadik. Now how does he prove that? That really, if Rivka was the daughter of a tzaddik, and they were both in the room and both davening, that was Rivka Imeinu's tefillah that would have been miskabel first. Based on what is the Biala Rebbe saying that this proves the point? Because Rashi is telling us the reason why the tefillah worked the way it worked. If, you understand, this is like you have to have a little bit of a Gemara cup for this. Even if Rivka was a tzaddik, tzaddik is bas tzaddik, and Yitzchak is a tzaddik ben tzaddik, Hashem still would have answered Yitzchak because he's holier. There wouldn't have been a need for any of this Rashi. So the Rashi is explaining to us, he's saying, don't think for a second that it's because she wasn't the holiest. If she was if she had this lineage that was holy, then, and they were both davening, even though her father wouldn't have been Avram Avinu, it would have been a tzaddik, her tefillah would have been answered before. Yeah.
I heard once that what was he saying? He was saying, give my wife a
Yitzchak.
baby. Yitzchak was saying, give my wife a baby because look, she's such a tzaddikus and look where she came from. And that's the idea of tzaddik.
So therefore he answers Yitzchak in the schus of Yitzchak.
Because he's pointing out
very good.
so amazing from such a
very, very good.
perspective.
Very good. Here the here the chap here is different because we're trying to understand here on their mitzad Hashem, like what is the mila, what is the level going on over here. So if we plug in what you said right now, then we could say like this: that Yitzchak Avinu knew the secret of tzaddik ben tzaddik and versus tzaddik ben rasha, and he was trying to like go from the side and say, it's true that because her father's not a tzaddik, I'll probably be answered first, but you and I both know HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if her father was a tzaddik, she would have been answered first. Elamai, even so, look how far she came, and then Hashem says, yeah, that tefillah of focusing on Rivka the way you did, that's opening the gates. Yeah.
Devil's advocate. 2 tzaddikim, okay, are davening, and they get 2 kids. And her kid was the tzaddik of the 2 boys, because Yitzchak ohevet Esav.
Oh, yafeh מאוד.
Thank you.
Meaning, so Yitzchak produces, I hate to say this, a Rasha ben Tzaddik,
Yeah.
and Rivka produces a Tzaddik ben Tzaddik. That's why is that devil's advocate?
Because we're talking about something else, and I'm just putting it out.
No,
there.
it's
2 of them are
not.
davening
That's
and they
great.
get 2 kids.
That's good. It's actually an amazing thing what you just said. It's an amazing thing what you just said. It doesn't work with Ishbitz, but it's an amazing thing. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so the first thing we have is the tefillah of Rivka Imeinu. Now the next one, Mama Rachel, tefillas Rachel Imeinu alei shalom. Look at this fascinating midrash Eicha. וכן מבואר במדרש איכה, כי בעת חורבן בית המקדש, באו האבות הקדושים, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב ומשה רבנו עליו השלום לפני השם יתברך. While the Beis HaMikdash was being destroyed, our Avos HaKadoshim and Moshe Rabbeinu came before Hashem. V'herichu b'tchinoseim al b'nei Yisrael, and they were davening so hard on Am Yisrael. Like, what were they? And then it says, Ach lo na'anu b'tfilatam, but they weren't answered. What were their tefillas on Am Yisrael? They were basically saying, Rebbeinu Shalom, it seems that there's a gezeras shmad, that there's a decree to wipe out all of Am Yisrael. It wasn't just the Beis HaMikdash that was about to be destroyed. We know meaning we know the story after what happened. But Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Moshe Rabbeinu are coming and saying, oh my God, it looks like everyone's going to be wiped out over here. And that was according to this, that's what probably was going to happen. And it didn't help. Then the Midrash says, V'lo shama Hashem yisbarach ki im tfilas asher Rachel Imeinu alei shalom. But Rachel Imeinu, who was davening over the tzon, that's what saved. I got to share with you something amazing, but is it okay if I'm able to breathe and someone can put on the air for a little bit? Not too cold or anything, just to get something flowing in here.
We're actually saying that because now it's the opposite.
Now it's the opposite. Yeah, this is a different midrash, but I'm saying, like, I have to share with you something amazing. Because now, for me, the context of Rachel Imeinu is a very different context. Last night we get a knock on the door, and it's Rachel Goldberg and her husband. And they're so beautiful. I don't know how they are so beautiful. They're so everything. The whole Am Yisrael is like in this zivug, you know. So under the chuppah, I remember that he said, he gave a whole Torah. He spoke under the chuppah, the husband, who was a widower who had 3 children. His wife Noah passed away from cancer, I think about 4 years ago, Mashkaze. And he said, he was talking about the love that he had, and then this song that he fell in love with, Ve'ahavat olam ahavtich. And he thought that was a weird thing that a song starts with the letter Vav and Ahavat olam ahavtich. But then he realized that this song came to him at that time for Vav HaChibur. Vav is always the word and, right? So it's a Vav HaChibur. The letter came and says, no. And now there's a Chibur of, you had love, now there's Ve'ahavat olam ahavtich. There's a letter that's going to bring them both together. And he fell in love with that song. Now, I forgot, but Bina remembered that we were having breakfast one morning in the Chamama. Olav Hashem? Right. And someone came up to me and had said to me, I want you to know this song, I just came across it, and it's given me such a tremendous nechama, I can't even explain to you. And he said, my wife just passed away. He was sitting with his daughter. And he told me this at the Chosenstish. I didn't remember. And then Bina remembered totally, and they came over last night, and it was amazing. It was just, they stopped by, they were in the area, and they wanted to, it's so sweet. Give a thank you for the chuppah and everything. So, under the chuppah, he said, I didn't know what was going to be in life, but then, Vehine Rachel ba imatzon. He quoted the pasuk. And here Rachel comes with the flock. And she came with a gesund flock. It's eight kinderlach. And he has 3. And they refer to them as achadasar kochvaya, or 11 stars. Because Bina asked him, he said under the chuppah, and then Bina asked her, Kama yadim yesh lachem? And they both said right away, achadasar kochvaya. So Vehine Rachel ba imatzon, and the tefillah of Rachel Imeinu. Rachel Imeinu, it's amazing. Our relationship with her is just one long life of hisbodedus, if you think about it. From the moment that she comes onto the scene till her ptira, that she dies in childbirth, there's so much going on with her, but there's so much of her going in and out of hisbodedus. And her tefillah, obviously, is something that has brought us back to Eretz Yisrael. She's buried where she's buried because we eventually were able to hear her crying while we went into Golus, and it brought us back. And it's still continuing to bring us back. So he continues here and he says, V'chen matzini b'midrash, lama nikvera Rachel bebeit lechem b'derech Efrat, shegalui v'tzafui lefanav, shesof beis hamikdash asid licharev. It was clear that the Beis Hamikdash would eventually be destroyed. Ubana v'asidim latzis bagola, and Hashem's children are going to go and be exiled. והם הולכים אצל אבות ומבקשים מהם שיתפללו עליהם ואינם מועילים להם. And before they get exiled, they're going to go and cry by the fathers for the tears, get us back here, save us. And it won't work for them. That's not what's going to be, it won't satiate them. וכיוון שהם הולכים בדרך, but then they're going to be on their way, הם באים ומחבקים קבורס רחל. They come and they hug the place where Rachel Imeinu is buried. והיא עומדת ומבקשת רחמים מן הקדוש ברוך הוא. Look down at footnote ס"ה, ואומרת לפניו, and her words are, ריבונו של עולם, שמע בקול בכייסי. Listen to the voice of my crying. ורחם על בניי, have compassion on my children. או תן לי האוניה שלי, or give me my no, because that would be a nun and a dalet. Here it's onya. Maybe it's connected, I don't know. Just make sure that my parnasa is given to me. Now, what's her parnasa? What's her mezanos? How do you satiate Rachel Imeinu? By putting some pushka, like money in a pushka next? No. Her kinderlach have to be taken care of. Back on top. Umiyad HaKadosh Baruch Hu shomea b'kol tefillah. So the Midrash says, Hashem immediately hears her davening. Minayin, sheken kasav, it says in Yirmiyahu, bechi tamrumim, nehi bechi tamrumim, Rachel mevaka al banea, v'kosav v'yesh tikva latchritechnu Hashem v'shavu banim ligvulam. Every chatuf that's come home, every chatuf that will come home, any yid that makes aliyah right now from America has nothing to do with Mamdani, Yemach Shemo, or anything else. It has to do with Rachel Imeinu. You and I that are here, we came back. It's true, Hashem facilitated it through many different avenues and ways, but our emunah is it's because she's buried right here, and the beginning of our exit was mamish here also that way, and then that way, and then that way, and then that way, and that way, and that way. We couldn't ever get rid of the voice of Rachel Imeinu and sing the tears of Rachel Imeinu. In our subconsciousness, that is actually what has kept us alive and has brought us back as well. This is what he's saying over here, these midrashim, that Rachel Imeinu's tears have a way of direct access and direct acceptance. Now, the diuk, though, in the word is very interesting. If I would say that Rachel is she cried over her children, so what would be the lashon in Hebrew? Rachel bachta or bocha al banea, mevaka. It's a very interesting word. Now, I don't want to start going into Ulpan right now with the binyanim and that triggers all of us, right? This is lo inyan. I'm Israeli, and I have no idea how it works, right? Mamash. I speak fluent Hebrew since I'm a kid, but then I start doubting my Hebrew when I started taking Chana for Bagrut and Lashon. So I'm not going to go into that, but mevaka is a very interesting word. It's a very interesting word. He's gonna unpack this word mevaka. What's a similar word in Hebrew to mevaka? Like the same kind of lush, same kind of bin.
Mevakesh.
Mevakesh.
It's the same binyan.
Yeah, there you go. No,
Sorry.
we're not saying that word right now. Madrich.
It's present. It's now.
It's ongoing.
From the word
Who-
mevich also. Mevich.
What's that?
Mevich. Embarrassing.
Oh, mevich. Wow.
It's embarrassing.
Is it?
It's the same.
No, I know it's the same letters, but is it the same shorish?
I don't know.
יכול להיות. No, it actually makes a lot of sense. יכול להיות. צריך עיון. A lot of things צריך עיון today. Okay, that's very good. You could say a lot of Torahs on what you just said. What? Mamash a lot of Torahs on what you just said.
I was thinking it's embarrassing, like when we say that, that Hashem, it's embarrassing for you that your children are going through.
You went to the top. Wow. No, that's the one of the... Did you understand what you just said?
Yeah.
Do you understand what you just said?
I hope so.
Shoresh, no. We've said this in different variations over the years. The shoresh of Gilui Rachmanut on Am Yisrael, the root of it, is not Hashem, this is embarrassing for us. It's being able to really say and feel and portray a life of, this is embarrassing for you. Why would you do this to you?
Moshe used that all the time.
Well, he was kind of plugged into the Shoresh HaTfilah. Right? And we say in Hallel, we do say this references in Hallel, actually, who knows where? Lama yomru hagoyim ayena Elohem. Right? Hashem, like, why would you do this? It's going to cause you to look like you're not really taking care. Sorry?
We say it in the Avra.
Avarachaman? Which Avar?
Avraham.
On Shabbos, yeah. Nachon.
Avinu Malkeinu, saying Manu leman shmecha, it's for you. It's
Yeah. So Rachel, let's say if we go with what you're saying, Rivka Imeinu is crying, saying, I know it's painful that it seems like Am Yisrael is going to be suffering now, but Hashem Yisbarach, why? Leman Shimcha Gadol V'Anora. So that's very deep. So look at the bottom here. ומלשון הכתוב מבכה, שנאמר בלשון הווה. Lisa. The bottom of the page. ובלשון הכתוב מבכה, שנאמר בלשון הווה, יש לדייק, שרחל אימנו עדיין מבכה על בניה, כי מענה להנחם. מענה להנחם is a word we also find by Yaakov Avinu. When he's told about Yosef, I just heard on the radio on the way to shul this morning that there was a chayal, that one of the chatufim, the last chayal chatuf, Itai Chen, the family refused to sit shiva when things came back probably close to 2 years ago, alluding to the fact that the son was killed, and there was proof that he was killed, and the halachas were that you have to sit shiva right away. They said, as a statement, we refused. No, I said, until our son's body is back, we're not. There's like this vayima'en. So she's still crying because she refuses to be consoled until all the Yidden come back, and based on what we're saying right now, until there's no reason for there should be an embarrassment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. Ki me'az ve'ad ata, from then till now, eina poseket לשטוח את תחינותיה בבכי ובדמעות עבור כלל ישראל. כמו שכתב בספר הקדוש תפארת שלמה, מבכה על בניה, what did the Radomsker Levi say over here, the תפארת שלמה? מבכה תמיד, ואיננה רוצה לעלות על מקומה, ורק היא עם בני ישראל. You know, this is like a classic story of basically saying, I'm not willing to have good things happen to me unless they're also happening to you. Like because it just won't mean so much. It won't mean anything to me. I think I told you this before, but it's obviously in the air. Tonight is Rav Shlomo's 31st Yortzeit, and he was only in Eretz Yisrael for Rosh Hashanah one time, the beginning of the Moshav, so like mid to late 70s. And he did something there. I don't know if he did it every year, but I speak about this all the time. I never did it, and I never told anyone to do it because it's really, it's a very, very high level, and also it could danger Shalom Bayis when the wives and children are waiting to eat on Leil Rosh Hashanah. And that's that after davening, the Machzor says at the end of Rosh Hashanah davening at night, Maariv. So what does it say in the Machzor? It says now everyone should turn to the person next to them and say L'shana tova tichate v'tichatem, right? If I need a Machzor, if I need a Machzor to come and tell me, oh, now is the time that I wish something to someone else, how deep could it be? Right? Oh, okay. L'shana tova tichate v'tichatem, right? It has to come from, right? So, the minute he did this, and he said maybe it took an hour, that everyone in the Moshav blessed each other, like with the good, all the brachas you could imagine, how, fresh hippies off the boat would want to bless each other. But it was always ended off by saying, and if you're not written and sealed in the book of life, I don't want to be written in it either. So you could hear that and be like, what a chutzpah, what a chutzpahdik way of talking. But sorry, this is what the Radomsker Rebbe says mevaka means. This is Rachel Imeinu's word. And Rachel Imeinu is not stopping to cry, even though a lot of good things have happened to her in her kinderlach, until everyone is back home, she's still crying. And Rachel's whole thing is that until the tzon, Rachel ba'im atzon, until the tzon are taken care of, me'ana lehinachem al banea ki enenu. She's refusing to be consoled. Rachel Imeinu, next paragraph. Is it too cold in here? I can't tell already. I'm an iceberg all day long in the right? It is too cold. You could lower it a little bit. Sorry to drive you crazy.
If you want, yes, ask me.
Chaku, another 2 weeks or two, it'll start to be naturally more cold. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you. ברחל אימנו עליה השלום בתפילותיה ותחנוניה הרבים ובדמעותיה הרבות, אשר היא שופכת תמיד לפני כיסא הכבוד, with all her tears that she's constantly pouring before the throne of glory. נטעה, she planted את עניין התפילה בנשמת בנות ישראל לדורות עולם. She planted the seed in the souls of Bnos Yisrael for forever. Sheyimasru es nafsham betfila al am Yisrael b'chol es. That they will give over their lives, not literally, figuratively, like the tefillah is like a mesirus nefesh when Am Yisrael is in trouble, val kiyumam be'es galus, that they should still exist while there's galus taking place. Upa'ala afzot. What's the greatest example of this in Jewish history after this? The greatest example for Klal Yisrael. Esther. Esther Amalka. Esther Amalka without a shadow of a doubt. In terms of the Klal Yisrael, Gzeras Shmad on everyone, Esther Amalka is plugged into this inyan of, Ani v'na'arotai, me and my girls, we're going to get it together. Where did this come from? It's because Rachel Imeinu planted within the Nishmas B'nai Yisrael, tzon is tzon. The flock is the flock, and they need their shepherd, or shepherd, is he shepherdess? I don't know how you say that. The shepherdess to be the ones that access the thing that has no machsom, that has no barrier. B'chol isha Yisrael. Ha'omedet b'tfila b'regesh u'b'dma'ot, any woman in Am Yisrael who's standing and davening with emotions and tears, mitpaleleti b'kocha shel Rachel Imeinu alei shalom. He's saying over here something very important. You always have the opportunity to open your heart the moment you just invite the person that's holding your hand while you're davening. And who's always holding your hand? Rivka Imeinu is always holding your hand during tefillah. וממנה מקבלת את הכוח הנשגב לפעול תמיד אצל השם יזברך. And you ask yourself, how do I have the koach to keep on davening? How do I have the koach to keep on davening, tehillim after tehillim? Where does this come from? Because Mama Rachel is Mama Rachel. It's not stam. Mama Rachel is basically the one that pushes you when you think you got nothing left in the tank. I remember after one of the trips we did to Ukraine, one of the women's trips, I don't remember which one, someone came up to, I think someone, I don't even remember this. Either I overheard it or someone came up to me and said, it was like the end of the first day and there's like 2 more days or whatever it was. And someone said, is there more davening on this trip? I'm like, well, yeah, there's a lot more davening. That's what this trip basically is. And she said, I don't know what to do. I'm davened out. I've never, in this day I davened more I did in my life. I'm davened out. That wasn't the story, davening, but this happens to us quite often as well. How much more could I daven over something? Where does it come from? He's saying over here, because Rivka Imeinu planted this in you, that you could never stop. You could never stop. Now, just to go back to the teaching from Rav Shlomo, he once said, what's the definition of holy? Holy means, you know you're doing something holy if you could do what you're doing forever. These weren't his chidushim. This is basically the pnimius of Chassidus, just like given to us in a manner that we could maybe relate to more. And if what you're doing, you couldn't do always, you'd be okay if it happened once in a while. It's nice, but you wouldn't say it's holy. All of us in this room know, when we're plugged into davening, you could do it forever. If a malach came and told you, the Rebbeinu Shalom said he's going to take care of everything, all you got to do is keep on doing this, we would all do it. We have moments like this when it becomes more revealed to us, like on Yom Kippur or other times during the year, right? This is real. This is holiness. This is kedusha. This is the kedusha of Rivka Imeinu that gives it to every Bas Yisrael. Always did, always will. The following is a very clear, very strong example that we all know. That when it came to leaving Mitzrayim, obviously נשים צדקניות, וגם נראה לברר בכוונת דברי חז"ל, בזכות נשים צדקניות נגאלו אבותינו ממצרים, היינו שנגאלו בזכות תפילתן הנעלות של נשים צדקניות, שהרי מצינו במדרש, שגאולת מצרים הייתה בזכות התפילה. Remember that the beginning of Geula from Mitzrayim was from the Psukim, not after the Makos started. It was when we were in the height of Avdus, and then Paro dies. That Paro dies before the next Paro comes on the scene. Vayizaku, Vatal, Shavatam, the Elokim, that initial scream and cry, where it came from, that is the beginning of the Geula Sheikh, of the Geula March. And if you look down in Samech Vav, Kilashon HaMidrash, Amar Lahim, Hashem said to Am Yisrael, Bachu v'yitpalu lefanai v'ani mekabel. אבותיכם כשנשתעבדו במצרים, לא בתפילה פדיתי אותם, שנאמר ויאנחו בני ישראל מן העבודה. We know that davening is what broke open the gates of galut, of shiabud, and eventually got us out of there. But we know that Chazal also say it was the schus of נשים tzadkaniyos. It was in the merit of righteous women. So which one was it? Was it the merit of davening, that just everyone started davening, that the Geula came? Or was it really in the merit of righteous women? What's going on over here? Im ken, back on the top over here, im ken mistaber, shetfilas nashim hiza she'evias hagula le'olam. Meaning, if you're going to say that it was davening that broke open everything for people to come out of Mitzrayim, but you also, Chazal, say it was the merit of righteous women, again, this is more of a lamda shekap, hai mashma, then this means, it must mean that it was the davening of women that brought about the Geula. V'chevan she'geulas Mitzrayim hi shoresh kol ha'geulot. Since The redemption from Egypt is the root of all redemptions. Nimtza ki bekoach tfilatan shel neshot Yisrael b'Mitzrayim nigalim Yisrael edorotehem u'machzikim ma'amad tachat ol hagalut hakaved. Again, this is like a no-pressure paragraph on all of you. But basically, if you want there to be a chance that all the Yiddelach come home and their Golus is finally over and that we get out of Golus here in Eretz Yisrael, you know how limited we are, men. You know how limited we are, the men, right? You know it. You know it. There's a hitorerut of tefillat נשים that's happening in our days more than ever. It's very clear. It's very, very, very powerful. And it should be very, very encouraged. And to see a sefer written by a big Hasidic Rebbe, a whole sefer just on this, to me, is a big simon of understanding the shift of time, the changing of times, and what we really need today. Because we're still stuck in a very big, thick cloud of galus, hurt to burst the Bnei Akiva Zionist bubble that many of us, I include myself, grew up with. That once you make Aliyah, galus is over. That's not true. It's a very dangerous statement, in my opinion, that brought a lot of confusion to a lot of different people. Who cares if it's like the beginning of the Geula, the middle of Lo Echpatli? Galus is not over yet. We're in the land of Geula, but the concept of Galut is not over yet. And therefore, all the Mama Rachel's tears and Rivka Imeinu's tears and the Nashim Tzadkanias of Mitzrayim's tears are needed now more than ever. So obviously, it was referenced before, but we have to also end off for today with Chana. Because without Chana, without Tfilas Chana, this picture won't be Shalem. I think I shared this on Shabbos at a certain point, maybe in shul, maybe at a meal. But you know, I saw a real frightening medrash that said, oh, I learned this from Rav Usher Weiss. He gave this over recently. And Rav Usher's shiurim are just, they're fat. He's standing next to a walking, just shas. You know, he's just unbelievable. So, actually, sorry, I'm a little bit of a tangent, but last night when Rachel came over, I don't know why this came up, but she shared that she had met with Rav Usher Weiss after her husband Rav Avi was killed 2 days after Simchas Torah. On Simchas Torah, they had a shaila. They didn't know what to do. They didn't have a Sefer Torah with them. This is what they're thinking about while they're in Lebanon, fighting the enemy. And the question was, what do we dance with? There's no Torah. Do you dance? So everyone I think they were told, or he said, I think Rav Avi said, everyone should just take whatever Sefer they have and that's their Sefer Torah and dance around with it. And there was a special edition of Minchas Usher, Reb Usher Weiss's Torahs that were like, I don't know if it was pocket size or it was like the size that was matim for the Chayalim in the Shetach. And he was dancing with the Minchas Usher. He was dancing with Reb Usher's Torahs. That's Simchas Torah, 2 or 3 days before. So Reb Usher Weiss shared a frightening midrash that said that when Chana, each one of her sons, right, before they were taken and killed, so she asked to say something, to give a hug to the last one before it was taken. And the Midrash says that she whispered into Avram Avinu's ear, into her son's ear, tell Avram Avinu, he only had to do this once, I have to do this 7 times. So the question is, that Midrash, like, what is that? Was that being chutzpahdik? What is she saying to Avram Avinu? Like, what is that statement? So Rabbi Usher taught it like this. He said, it doesn't mean that she was being chutzpahdik saying, Avram Avinu, look, you think you had it hard? And the outcome of your nisayon wasn't what I'm experiencing. I have to do it 7 times. She said, because of the schus, because of the merit, Maise Avos, Yetzira Labanim, Simon Labanim, because of what you did, the Mesiras Nefesh that you did in our Parsha, Vayera, I had the koyach right now to go through this right now. And if you didn't do that, I would have never had the koyach to last the 2nd year. Because the koyach of the Mesiras Nefesh that you created, Maise Avos Yetzira, you created for the Banim a world to tap into of Mesiras Nefesh. That's what Chana was telling her child to tell Avram Avinu. Now let's look inside. This is just an amazing thing. בואו ראה מה פעלה תפילתה של חנה, אימו של שמואל הנביא עליה השלום. שבכוח תפילתה המשיכה את נשמת שמואל הנביא, שהיה שקול כמוישה ואהרון. Now we're talking about Chana, the mother of Shmuel. That in the koyach of her tefillah, she was able to draw down the neshama of Shmuel. That is, his soul is shakul. What's the right word in English? Equivalent to the soul of Moshe and Aaron. Now, this shouldn't be a chiddush to anybody because you say it every Friday night. Moshe ve'Aaron bechohanav, u'Shmuel bekorei shmo. Why do we say that? Isn't that interesting? Moshe ve'Aaron bechohanav, u'Shmuel bekorei shmo. And then we say, korim el Hashem ve'hu yanem. They call out to Hashem, and then they'll be answered. Because the neshama of Shmuel was drawn down from such a place, such a high and exalted place. כמו שאמרו חז"ל, חנה שטעמה טעם תפילה, לפיכך זכתה ויצא ממנה בן שהיה זיווג למשה ואהרון, שהיו מאירים לישראל. Chana tasted the taste of what davening is. What do I mean she tasted the taste? She was tefillah. She understood this. She was the bechina of like David HaMelech. Va'ani tefillah. This was her reality. And because this was her reality, she was able to draw down a neshama from such a high and exalted place. Someone that became equivalent. Again, this is hard to understand this because most kids, if you say, tell us something about Moshe, they'll have stories. Tell us something about Aaron, they'll have stories. Tell us something about Shmuel Hanavi. It's behind Ramot, you know. But those that are understanding the need to connect more to the Nevi'im understand that we need to plug ourselves into Nevi'im now more than ever. כבר הזכרנו את שאמרו בגמרא, in brachas, כי מתפילתה של חנה למדנו את יסודות התפילה. We learn from Chana's davening the foundations of davening. כמבואר, אמר רב המנונה, כמה הלכס הגברס האיקה למשמע מהני קראי דחנה. How many halachas we learn from the psukim that come out from the tefillah of Chana. כמו שכתב רבינו בחיי, ועוד תמצא עיקרים גדולים שבתורה מפורשים על ידי נשים. You'll find many other principles that play a very big role in Hilchos Tefillah, with all the world of the halachas of Tefillah, not just the meaning of Tefillah. This is very important. We're not just saying by Chana, oh, what a beautiful perush her Tefillah must have been. Chazal looked at that and said, okay, we have to now present to Am Yisrael the world of davening through halacha. And he's saying, the Gemara is saying, Dafka through Chana, and he's going to bring other examples now, there's the yesodos of tefillah that now have been instituted in Kol Bait B'Yisrael in terms of how to daven. Not what to say necessarily, but how to daven. We spoke about this 2 years ago, second day Rosh Hashanah. I don't expect anyone to remember, but I remember this is like very chazak things because that's when we speak about him. So Rabbeinu B'chai says we find a lot of ikarim, big ikarim b'dora, dafka mefurish by women. Ki inyan ha'olam haba hanikra tzror ha'chaim al yedei Avigail. This is beautiful. We know we should all live long. Teheh nishma tzror bitzror ha'chaim. Where did that phrase come from? That came from Avigail. She used it. Ve'inyan tchiyas hamesim v'sidrei tchina al yedei Chana. The principle of faith that the Rambam speaks about, that if you don't have this, you're not really a Yid. The whole concept of the resurrection of the dead, where did that come from? Chana founded it. And Sidrei Tchina, the order of how to daven to Hashem through Chana. Harei lanu. So the Bialer is saying here now like this. Ki harbe gufei Torah shel hilchot tefillah nimshachim v'nilmadim dafka mitfilas hanashim. What ended up being the laws, the rules, the guidebook, the manual of how Jewish people daven were learned out from the way Chana davened. Ubevadai sibas hadavar, the reason for this must be mipeat sheyeshna chashivus miyuchedes u'ma'ala yisera letfilasan shel neshos u'bnos Yisrael. And this, from all this we see the point of this sefer. If Chazal created a world of davening and based the halachas, so many of the halachas, on the way that Chana davened, we have to pay closer attention to the inyan of tefillas נשים that we see throughout the Torah, throughout Chazal, throughout everywhere. Now, one more important thing. And we're going to see this, I don't know about next week, maybe the week after. Lo yodea matai bidiyuk. But, and this is for me a breakthrough chidush through the Torahs of the Biala Rebbe. If this is all true, then why is it that in most real frum places, women aren't in shul?
There's not even Ezrat Nashim sometimes.
Sometimes. So if that's the case, then why is it like this, right? So it's a good question, nachon, and he's going to debunk it. Meaning he's going to say, yesh po ba'aya. And he's going to show us how the real tzaddikim from back in the day understood that if women were not present in the shul while they were davening, they knew something was lacking. Which I saw this inside. I couldn't believe he's saying such words. Like, because it has to be. Meaning if you're going to learn these tires right now, and then you'll come to the maskana, and this just means that when you're at home, in between feeding kids, make sure that you know Rivka Imeinu is holding your hand. Is that going to work today? Is there anyone here that'll do it for them? Mapitom, not just here, in the world. But for us, it's important to see the building of how he built this whole picture. And therefore, I just want to encourage you all. I'm not saying, God forbid, a word of musar, chalila, lahefech, just empowerment. This quiet that we're experiencing right now is a total illusion. A total illusion. The prep for the next massacre is happening while we're sitting here right now. And the reason that any second it's not taking place, I believe, is the same reason, the same way we got out of Mitzrayim. B'schus nashim tzadkanios. It has to be.
No pressure.
No pressure. I believe this with all my heart and soul. You see that there are people like the woman that walked into my house last night that are, and they're no one's like each other, Khalila. Everyone has their own inyan, but you see that this light that is emanating from the world in the last 2 years, this light is, we see where it's coming from. And therefore we have to just make sure that's tuned up and given over to our daughters, and to invite them to realize Rachel Imeinu is with them, Rivka Imeinu is with them, every woman that ever lived in Egypt is with them, Chana is with them, Abigail is with them, Dvorah Hanaviyah is with them. These things need to be turned up, the volume on these things. That's the reason we're learning this year. For now, probably going to do for 6 months. We'd be ready to 2 months of it. Because this is mamish, I believe the Eis Ratzon for this right now. So I want to give you all Yesha Koyach, and let's continue. Bezrat Hashem, we should hear Yeshua's, Menechamas, and the eventual Nekama, Bezrat Hashem too.